die. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's a funny gag.
And then as opposed to just being sucked into quicksand for some reason. Like,
well, that makes sense. That because at the beginning he says all the people that he flew with are dead and buried in the sand. So he was being buried in the sand.
in a random quicksand spot?
Yeah, well, someone mentioned this to me this week, and this person was like, when I was younger, I thought quicksand would be a lot more prevalent than it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's so, like, Never-Ending Story. Oh my gosh, so many different movies. I have tons of other stories. Like, I thought it was pretty, like, another random thing is Oded Fehr's, like, he had to shave his entire body the entire time, so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I really recommend listening to, if you own it, eventually, if you're listening to this, or David, listen to the director commentary and listen to Oded Fehr commentary, because they really do a really fun job breaking down this film. But yeah, I think those are my top five moments, and I talked about more, but I just dig this movie.
Yeah, I think honorable mention for both of us, and stop me if I'm speaking for you, is the gold paint.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just, now and like I said, Oded Fehr had a great point. He's like 14-year-old boys love that scene. So
yeah,
we can say that and not be creepy. Like, well, I don't think we're going at it from that angle, but
No. Like, well, also, I'm saying gold paint because I also think the priests looked awesome in the gold paint.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that looked cool. I like the design. I mean, all right, I would love to do an analysis of surprise hit films and trailer moments that maybe got people into the theater. Does that make sense?
I could do one right now.
What?
Varsity Blues, when the main female character goes, sex and football, that's all anyone cares about this town. Here's the thing, though, that never appeared in the movie. I'm still mad about it.
Yeah, like this movie had, if you're talking about trailers, dude, this movie had that massive sandstorm. It had the gold paint. It had the creatures yelling at Brendan Fraser. It just had, this, Sommers made a smart film. I think they did a really good job editing it. I don't think they lost too much. Oh, also, the bodies in this film of humans are different from, this isn't our world that this movie took place in. This is a alternate timeline, because that scarab gets into Jonathan and goes all the way up his body. They cut it out, rip it out of him, and there's no internal bleeding or skin stretching or nerve damage in his entire arm.
That's very good. That's a very true point.
That's one scene I don't like. Now, obviously, you can't just have an entire bandaged man in a hospital worrying about nerves in his arm. But it must be a different world where bodies work differently than ours.
So I have a couple, just a very few research things that I found that maybe you know about.
Okay.
But the first one is that Brendan Fraser during the hanging scene got knocked out in reality. Like he was actually choked until he passed out.
Yeah, he had to be resuscitated.
Yeah, and I thought that was crazy, and that sort of highlights the stuff that he was willing to do in these types of movies. And then the other one was Rachel Weisz having to have her night outfit painted over to keep this a PG-13 movie, because if you got wet, it became transparent.
Yeah, they said that in the commentary. Like, she was just standing around in this completely see-through thing, and they had to paint it all out. Yeah.
We haven't talked much about Rachel. I really dig her.
She's so good.
She's done some great stuff.
She's one of my favorites, man. She's one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, Constantine.
Let's do it right now. Let's do a Rachel Weisz draft.
Okay.
Because, man, the favorite that she's in, oh, she is amazing. Mm-hmm. All right, so pick pick one or two.
One.
All right, it's two. So I gotta pick a movie. First. Oh my gosh, I never get picked first. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna say, you know what? Oh man, she's in that movie too. Eee. All right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say The Mummy because I love her in this movie.
Oh, that's great. That is a great one. I'm going to go with Constantine. I think it's underrated, and I really like that film.
I think you won with that pick. I'm going to go with The Lobster because she is amazing. And I don't care if I'm using a lot of hyperbole. She is so good in The Lobster. So I'm doing that. The Lobster.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Enemy at the Gates. I also really like that film, and I think it's another one that's underrated.
I read the book, and it's a pretty cool story about all those snipers. There's a lot more in the book, but I dig the stories about that. Just wanted you to know. All right. That's all I got on that. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to say About a Boy. It's a small role, but I love this scene with her because there's a scene where he's talking to her at a party. Hugh Grant's talking to Rachel Weisz at a party, and he just realizes, I am out of this woman's league. I don't know if you remember that scene, but it really hit me. Like when I saw it, just his self-realization that, yeah, I got nothing here. She's too good. So I dug that. All right, what's your third pick?
Mine is The Favorite.
Oh man, you know what? She should have gotten the Oscar for that. I'm saying it now.
Yeah, I like that film. I do not love it, but what I do like about it particularly is the cinematography. I think the cinematography and the acting are very strong in that film.
She's a gangster in that movie. Also, if you're interested, if you look up BAFTAs every year, they do an hour-long interview with all the people who are nominated for BAFTAs for production design. And in that talk, the production designers of The Favorite talk about the costuming and the house and everything they bought for the film. So if you dig production design, I totally recommend you listen to that BAFTA. It's all the production designers together, but it's really cool how they made that movie. Just got to recommend that. All right, let's see.
Number 4.
She's so good. All right. Oh, she's gonna be in Black Widow. That makes me so happy. Get her in those Marvel movies.
We could preemptively pick that.
I'm gonna say The Fountain because I'm not a crier. I've very rarely cried, and it's not like a macho thing. I'm not like a crier. I've tried to. I've wanted to cry before. Come on, man, just cry. But The Fountain, I was watching The Fountain and a single tear dropped from my eye, and I just went, did I cry? And I was really happy about it watching The Fountain, and she was in it. So I'm giving The Fountain my fourth pick.
Okay. I am going to pick Fred Claus to show her range.
Oh, no. I think you just gave me the competition. I love it. How'd she end up in that movie?
I don't know. I mean, remember that Vince Vaughn was huge. I mean, he's still popular, but there was a period where he was putting anything and everything on the screen.
And she was in Chain Reaction, too. Well, his movies were making money.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen The Shape of Things with her in it?
No, I have not.
Oh, dude, she is so good. She's mean in it. It's with Paul Rudd and Neil LaBute did it based on one of his plays. Oh man, she rips that poor guy apart. Now she won her Oscar for The Constant Gardener, which is cool. She's in The Brothers Bloom, which was a lot of fun. She's in The Deep Blue Sea. You know what? That's a good movie. That's a really underrated picture right there. And it goes with Terrence Davies directed it. So I'm gonna say The Deep Blue Sea, not Deep Blue Sea.
Okay, that's good. And I am gonna pick the also strange one, The Brothers Bloom.
Oh, that's so good.
It's weird, but I dig it.
Hey, Rian Johnson.
Yeah,
Oscar nominated Rian Johnson. I think we actually picked decent squads here. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, Fred Claus could be bad for me, but we'll see what happens. I also think people don't remember Enemy at the Gate. If more people saw that, they would like it.
So you want to get into our stand squad?
I have a couple things I want to talk about first.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, well, usually we're not this long, but there's so much to talk about for this. So the first thing I would say is Imhotep isn't a mummy. He's not mummified in the movie.
Yeah, he's kind of juicy.
Yeah, so it's called The Mummy. What is that title referring to? Who is the mummy?
Now, there are a lot of mummies in it. So he wasn't mummified, but he was mummified light. So is Diet Cola still a cola?
It is still a cola. I mean, my thinking behind this, it's soda or pop. Yeah. So I'm from Midwest. We call it pop, but I lived in Florida, so I started calling it soda. And now I don't know what I call
soda
it.
Pop.
Give me some of that fizz. I like to think in my headcanon that this movie refers to Anuxamon as the mummy.
Because she was mummified.
She was mummified. And so it's, in my head, really a love story.
Oh, it is. And it's really sad in Mummy Returns when she runs away from him and he sees that Evelyn saves Rick. Because I think he realizes that, if you think about it, Imhotep and Anoxasuna Moon were never really able to have a relationship. They were never able to be alone. I think there was an infatuation between them, a love, but they didn't know each other. They they weren't ride or die like Rick or Evelyn. So at the end, when Evelyn saves Rick, despite him saying not to, and she runs away, he kind of gets it. And then he dies. It's a sad, it's a tragic ending.
It is. It is very much a tragic ending. So the next thing I wanted to ask is, what was Rick actually in prison for?
He was a very bad boy.
Yeah, that's all they said. Who knows? Who knows?
He stole something or beat up somebody.
Yeah, that had to have been it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I just thought that was a great line.
Yeah, he's a very bad boy.
And then I guess my final one is, are mummies zombies?
Are mummies zombies? Yes. I guess anything well, no, because they have thought processes.
Yeah.
So I would say if you are with a very stubborn human being and they just want to be a jerk for the night and just be like, yeah, they're zombies. Not a jerk, but bullheaded. You couldn't say no because technically they're coming back from the dead. However, this mummy comes back with full mental processes. Like it knows who it is. So
yeah,
that's not a definition of a zombie per se. That's more of like a...
I do. I agree with you. And I think so another key difference is that mummies aren't infectious. If a mummy bites you, you aren't going to turn into a mummy.
Yeah, you're right. If a mummy bites you, it's just going to hurt.
Yeah, so I say no. I think mummies are not infectious. They're more intelligent. They're less aggressive than zombies. And then a mummy is also a process that has to happen to your body. And with zombies, it's just like you're bit and then you're a ghoul or a zombie.
I like that. Yeah, I don't think that's a good point. No, I think a mummy is just a mummy. Is that like a subgenre of a zombie?
Yeah, I guess it's a ghoul or a lich, maybe.
The dead don't die, ghoul.
Yeah, and then I said the last one was my final one, but I lied. My final one was Ebert liked this movie. Roger Ebert really liked this film, but he said that Anaconda is better. Agree or disagree?
Disagree times 8,000.
I know. I was reading this. I was like, what? Roger Ebert, what's wrong with you?
Now, Anaconda is a totally different film. It's a nastier film. They're not the same film, but I guess they're both kind of creature features. No, Mummy's better. Mummy is a better movie. I think Jon Voight gives the most interesting performance, but The Mummy is a better movie.
All right, that is what I have. I'm ready to move into our movies about sand.
I have about 700 hours left of this stuff to talk about, but I don't need to do it. There's so much mummy detail. I love this movie. David, can I go first on this?
Absolutely.
So what we're doing is, this is just, all right, every episode that we do, you and I do, we do a team. We put together teams, and then we narrow it down into, like, from 10 down to 5. This one is movies that feature people near sand for a decent amount of time. Correct?
Yes.
Sand crew. So it could be sand anywhere in the world. Just sand somewhere. So
is this the movie or the character?
Character. Did you pick movies?
I did, but I know all of the characters, so I can make it work.
Okay. Do you want to do movies? I could do movies.
No, let's do characters. Right. I think that's more fun.
Now, all right. So this one's a team, and it's cheating, but they're a team unit. Bones, Jones, Jack, and Fred from In the Army Now.
Accepted.
They go overseas to purify water, and they end up blowing up some stuff. And they're by a lot of sand and scorpions, and it gets very sandy.
Okay.
So, In the Army Now.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick, I believe is it Furia or Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road.
And that was one of my picks too.
And this is a controversial statement. I think that is the movie of the aughts. That's my number one of the decade between 99 and, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, AV Club agrees with you, and I like AV Club.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I feel in good company.
that was their number one movie. It's an excellent film. I think if I went with I would go with personal favorites, but as far as films, yeah. I mean, Mad Max is consensus. So good.
Yeah.
And Furiosa is badass.
I put out a Instagram post today. And so just for your audience now, I have this Instagram page and I post sometimes weird reviews I find on the internet of good movies or bad movies. And the review that I found that I put out today was of Mad Max Fury Road. And this person gave him a 1-star review. And basically they were like, They lost me at the guitar flamethrower.